On this episode, backed by Goldman Sachs, Circle purchases Poloniex, and did Binance get hacked? Sort of. Also, are banks taking cryptocurrency and blockchain more seriously? All that plus the state of the market on this episode of Crypto Talk by CryptoWatch.
Down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God, and He on my side. That's the confidence I got. Yes, He got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power.
Welcome to Crypto Watch. This is Crypto Talk, and with me as always, Mr. Sir Rick Rock.
You underestimate my power. I do not fear the dark side. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
What's happening, crypto noobs and crypto junkies? This is Sir Rick Rock. What's happening, Sky Vision? How we doing?
What's going on, man?
Just hanging out here, you know,
All right.
trying to update everybody on episode 3, Return of the Crypto Sith.
Oh, yeah. You're not taking that episode 3 a little too serious, right?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. Crypto's making a comeback.
Well, yeah, every day it's up and down.
Yep. It always fights back, you know.
Yes,
But it's doing good. It's doing good. It looks like we're kind of getting upgraded there. I noticed that you have your wallpaper there. We actually see how you look like. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
We're finally trying out this video format. See if people like it or whatever. Got the projector going on with a gift from somebody we know.
Hey, you know, you're a tech guy, so I kind of had to deliver something like that.
Thanks,
you know,
thank
no tie, you know, no belt, no hat, no poster. I went with the little different, you know, tech device there for
All
you.
right, well, thank you. Appreciate
talking
it.
about talking about tech stuff, you know, I was looking up the other day this timeline of very bad future predictions. And it was interesting because I was looking at the stuff that was there, right, and I was like, okay, one of the things that they were talking about was a very bad idea, I guess, is you know, trains, and you had digging in the ground for oil. You had phones, you had the light bulb, you had planes. There's a couple of you know, different ideas that they thought it was going to be very, very bad, or it was not possible. I just wanted to point something out. Kind of, you know, what we're talking about, it brings up crypto and blockchain as something new, something that maybe someone's not used to, or maybe the old thoughts are still there that, hey, this is not possible, or so on. But the new cats, you know, they think a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at revolution to new devices and stuff. And it's funny, look, in 1995, the truth is no online database will replace your daily newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Sky Vision, you're a techie guy, so what
No, yeah.
you know, that's your
I see where you're
reality
going.
there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. There's a lot of negativity and a lot of doubt, and that goes on with crypto. And I see where you're going. Like it's compared a lot to the dot-com time, when all these companies were being launched, and then that bubble burst, and it seemed like, oh, it was gonna go nowhere. But hey, that's kind of what we live by now, and all these sort of ideas are sort of like the same thing, right? Like it's going on now with crypto.
Yeah.
And yeah, the older
Yeah.
generation, it's harder for them to adapt. Just like,
But the blockchain, it's kind of, if you really look into it, it's kind of mind blowing if you really think about it, what it could do and what things can get fixed and stuff like that. And now you kind of see banks are now really taking it seriously, and acknowledging that blockchain basically is a threat in the future in their business. You know, you have a couple of banks that are coming out right now that are talking about, hey, you know, like Bank of America right here is worried about the threat of cryptocurrency to its business, you know. And then you have JP Morgan also coming out and saying, hey, you know what? this is kind of we got to really look at this because if you look at this year, they had their annual report, right? They come out and do their predictions and see what's going to go on. And one of the risk factors that they had there was the competition of cryptocurrency or digital currency, which was interesting because now you have these banks back in a couple of last year talking about what it doesn't make sense, it's not going to happen, it's not possible. Now you kind of see banks that are kind of maybe looking at it might be a impact in their business, um, which is pretty interesting because this is something that they wrote on one of their annual reports, and I quote on an article, and it says both financial institutions and their non-banking competitors face the risk that payment processing and other services could be disrupted by technology such as cryptocurrency that require no intermediation. It's interesting hearing something like that. That now they're really looking at forcefully, maybe have to adapt and actually modify. And actually, they are modifying. Actually, they're actually coming out and adapting to the new market. And you have a couple of companies that rolled out. You have around 30 banks and like big tech companies that are organizing this enterprise Ethereum Alliance, which is they're using the Ethereum platform. And look at the companies that are showing
Yeah.
on my screen. If you can see that, you have BVVA, you have ING, you have JP Morgan, you have Intel, you have Microsoft. So now you have these big companies rolling out, starting this company called Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. And again, there's like 500 companies already rolling out an Ethereum ready platform.
Quick
Are they going to
question.
use Ethereum currency?
Are these
Yes.
primarily American companies, or it doesn't matter? Is it worldwide?
It doesn't matter worldwide because the BBVA, I'm not sure where they're from, but they're not from the United States. ING also as well. They're not from the United States as well. So correct. It's not just United States based.
Okay.
It's worldwide. And then you have a bigger I think pretty good news. You have Circle buying Poloniex. Poloniex is an exchange in the United States that had a little bit of trouble, maybe keeping afloat. And I mean, I believe by keeping afloat meant the traffic that they were getting from customers trying to do exchanges. They couldn't handle the traffic. And then since it's United States, since it's in the United States, basically, your regulations in the United States are a little bit harder. So that you have a company called Circle come out, which is pretty cool because you have this company that's called Circle, but it's backed up by Goldman Sachs, which I found really interesting there. That you have Goldman Sachs, kind of backing up this company. It's going to be huge. They rolled out an application that's going to have different types of cryptocurrency for you to do exchanges, also from your phone. So it's going to be a different revolution. I think that's what's going to go on. You also have IBM creating a hyper ledger project that also has using blockchain, which is pretty interesting. What's
And
going on?
are those
That
all
banks are rolling out and talking
Ethereum
about it.
based, or different types of blockchains?
Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, those 500 companies are Ethereum-based blockchain. And you have, I believe, IBM Hyperledge, what I kind of mentioned. That's a different one. They're trying to create another their own kind of network and platform and all that. And it was funny because today I was talking to one of my co-hosts from another podcast that we're gonna end up starting called A Little Bit of a Lot. He kind of rolled out something with China, which I found interesting as well. It's an article or a video talking about China already adapting to maybe not even using dollars and credit cards, or that they were kind of already fading away from it, which I also find interesting. Which now you have banks talking about adapting and changing maybe softwares and all that programs. You have companies, 500 companies, also using Ethereum blockchain platforms. Now you have China kind of already they're already kind of ahead of the game already. And I'm not gonna say they're not. They are. We're still writing on notepad and paper, and
Interesting, because
using
they were
pens
trying
while
to.
they're
I mean,
using
they still
technology to
have that
kind of take
ban,
care of
right,
the
for
business.
mining, mining cryptocurrencies, but at the same time, they're still moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. But you think
Yeah.
about it. See, you and I are competitors, right? And would I tell you all my secrets, what I'm doing, or would I go ahead and say, you know what? Hey, I'm not even doing that. I don't want to do that.
Where'd you get that
It's
from?
whack.
That won't work, and then you
It's not gonna work
turn
out.
around and go buy
But
the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, or make it better, or go ahead and develop something a little bit more advanced. They're competitors, right? And I think that's maybe take an impact also of the market. You have China saying, "Hey, we're not going to use it," but what about they really are? They just haven't rolled it out because they're waiting for it to be a
Yeah.
top performer.
No,
I mean, rolled out to the whole world.
interesting points. And does this I don't know if you read that article also about Japan. They're kind of flirting with Ripple's blockchain. The
Oh
one with
wow,
the
actually did.
61 Japanese banks that make up, I think, over 80% of all the banking assets in Japan. I'm just throwing that out there, like that's
Yeah,
another
yeah.
another example, right, of them moving forward with crypto and blockchain.
It's crazy that we still sometimes we have. It's difficult to maybe convince individuals to maybe think this is happening, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like I always say, old thoughts will soon fade away, because I think that's going to happen. The way we do business, or we do, or keep track of everything, it's gonna maybe start fading away. Because you imagine having everything on blockchain. Every dollar has an assignment and knows where it's going. Um, I think it's going to be pretty big if everything goes on blockchain. Now you know that how money is being spent. Say the government goes on blockchain, or you have the military go on blockchain, or you have the medical field go on blockchain.
That's kind of
Actually
already in
keeping
the
track
works
of
too. I mean,
everything
there's
possible.
a cryptocurrency for a
I
lot
think
of
it'll be,
different fields.
yeah.
Just to give an example, I know in the medical, specifically dental, there's DentaCoin, and they legitimately have clinics that um, already are accepting cryptocurrency. Not a lot. There's probably like maybe 6 or 7 altogether, but they're all over the world. 3 of them are in New York, owned by the same dentist. I remember I did a quick little update on DentaCoin, sort of our little pilot episodes that are not available right now, but maybe I'll show them later on in the future, just so they know what I'm talking about. But you remember that one, right?
I actually
Oh,
do.
I was gonna ask you. I'm sorry. I was
Interesting
gonna ask
that
you also
maybe
about
they're ahead of the game
going back to
themselves.
IBM
Um,
and the story you're talking about them forming
an IBM. Well, I just kind of took a glance at it because I was
the
looking at different
Ethereum
different
Alliance. Yeah.
kind of like the 500, the what's it called, yep, correct. I was looking at the same thing, and I ran into
Because that
IBM
also
as well. I
reminded
didn't
me
get
of
it
that
too
other
much to
story.
read
Also,
into
on
it,
one
but they're
minute.
actually
Hold on.
developing
So,
their
but it was
own
a story that
stuff.
came out early this year about IBM and Maersk. Remember the shipping company, Maersk, with they're getting together, which made a lot of sense to me because of
Oh
they want to
yes.
form their blockchain because of a ledger. And it's a ledger, and distribution works off of ledgers and manifests. Every day. That's what kind of runs the world right now. That's like a good.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's a good real world
Yeah.
example of blockchain in good use, right? What it can be used for.
Right.
All right, so moving forward, let's get into this story real quick so we can include in this episode. That's regarding Binance. Um, I don't know if a lot of people heard about the hack that happened, and just let me get the story up real quick. So it looks like there was a hack regarding Viacoin. There were some discrepancies that Binance was noticing a couple days. Well, it's been a few days now. So the Binance, which is China-based, it discovers suspicious trading activity, and they were looking at Viacoin, and it seems like they were selling real fast, something completely out of the ordinary. Turns out there was hackers who posted up there was a phishing attack that would trick people into going into these fake sites, thinking they were going to Binance, obviously, putting in their credentials, and pretty much trick them into giving up all their information. And with that, they used to, sell off coins, buy coins, and it was all done through Viacoin. Anyway, so the good news is that they discovered it on time, and they were able to pretty much hold all the transactions. Everybody was able to get all their money back, and they even caused the thieves to pretty much lose all the money that they were trying to get out of it. And this was done in a matter of a couple hours. It didn't take very long, and in a way, it's good news that we could still rely on Binance and finding things out. It was a little scary at first because it did affect the market that night. But it was as soon as the Binance announced that they had figured out what was going on, a couple hours later, everything was going back up, and it was trading as usual. Everything almost seemed like it was back to normal, and then we have the current state that it is now.
Yeah, and what did they do after? They busted at old Young Guns Part 1, Part 2, hang them high for a reward. Like $100,000 or $1 million,
Yeah.
what was it for everybody to go after the
It's
hacker?
like posting their
and
most
there was a
wanted
reward for that, I
poster
think.
on the.
It was pretty cool. I thought.
on a wooden post somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that how they tracked.
We want them dead or
you can
alive,
see
right?
that there was suspicious activity, and the article, I'll put it in the resources, got into detail as far as like they were noticing that normally value was increasing in Viacoin, and they said the normal for any cryptocurrency, this is Binance numbers, normally if it was a big jump, it doesn't go up that high. It started at 280, and in 20 minutes it was almost $7. And if they wouldn't have stopped it, who knows how much Viacoin would be worth right now. And this was last Wednesday morning. No, just an example. I mean, I don't know, it just kind of tells me that they're keeping numbers on how currencies are, how much they fluctuate, what's normal to go up and down, which I mean, I don't know how you can tell what's normal is, but what's it called, the technical analysis?
We're going back to patterns. Market patterns. You have market patterns, right? Like it was funny because I keep thinking about we are in a bubble, right? And then you have, and I'm thinking, okay, isn't the housing market also sometimes a bubble? Isn't the stock market also sometimes a bubble? They're already kind of talking. You have banks already rolling now and discussing about the stock market. The stock market is going to maybe drop 40% in the next couple of years. So why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about that? But the main focus is going to be on crypto and blockchain, because maybe if the stock market does go down like they're predicting, people are going to pull their money out and they need to invest it somewhere. What do you think that's going to be?
Or cryptocurrency, yeah. If they want to, like, yeah.
Blockchain.
You gotta do something with it before you lose it, I guess.
Yeah. So I see a lot of good investors, and maybe they're noticing that they're gonna maybe pull out.
I wasn't gonna say it.
It's like putting your money to Tether.
There is no. Is there
it's kind of something
a
similar to that. You're gonna go
type entity in the normal stock market? I don't think so. Yeah. How can you? Where can you save your money within the market?
I'm not sure.
It's crashing.
I think it's called cash out.
Crashing. Everything's crashing except that one thing, which I guess it does sound funny, and I'm not surprised.
Right. So
what's it? CFTC subpoena
Bitfinex
and Tether, but I don't know. Nothing seems like Tether's still going strong, and it's still available there, and Bitfinex is still up in the news, plugging away. So it seems like everything's all right. Yeah.
It's there. So say, for example, you have all these investors, right, take their money out, right, because they're noticing that they have to park my money somewhere, so they're gonna cash it out. If they put it into their accounts, if good investors don't put their money in their account because they know inflation is devaluing their dollar, so they're gonna want to go ahead and grow their money and pretty quick. And where do you do that?
Yeah.
Crypto.
All right, but that was some good information as always. And so Rick Rock, I think we could end it up right now. We're kind of running out of time. I hope that was a, I don't know, insightful episode. And I don't know, any parting words you want to leave everybody in our first video format episode that we're testing out here? Hopefully it wasn't too, I don't know, amateurish. Yeah.
Hey, I think we're getting a little bit better, but
Please,
I think we gave a lot of information. But I'm excited. Hopefully, we get a thumbs up on our video. So you know what? This was Crypto Watch, Crypto Talk, Crypto Life.
Crypto Talk.
Catch you later, crypto noobs and crypto junkies. This is still Rick Rock. Catch you later.
That's why I really feel like you